Hey, Alabama. Nick Saban claims Nil's system hurt the SEC by helping northern schools. And that's all changed. Coach Saban never liked NIL. Let's see more Bama news. Subscribe to the channel first. Nick Saban spoke again. And as usual, college football stopped to listen. The Alabama legend, who had one of the most dominant eras in SEC history, stated that the Nil system ended up hurting the South and favoring the great Northern powers. It's a view that, coming from Saban, carries weight and provokes inevitable reflections on the future of recruiting and the very essence of college football. During his appearance on the Pat McAfee show, the former coach was blunt. The current culture of college football, with nil and player pay, may have hurt the SEC a bit and helped the schools in the North. For someone who built a dynasty based on discipline, tradition, and competitiveness, not financial promises, this observation sounds like a critique of the sport's ongoing shift in values. Saban, who led Alabama for over a decade and transformed the program into a synonym for excellence, is not just complaining about the rule change, but also about the shift in mentality. He understands that nil is part of the new reality, but he doesn't hide his discomfort with the fact that recruiting is no longer, in many cases, a choice based on legacy, culture, and technical development. Kids don't grow up wanting to go to Alabama, Georgia, Florida, or Texas. They want to go to whoever pays them the most, the coach said, with a candor rare these days. Saban's argument gained strength when considering the recent landscape. Since 2022, no SEC team has won a national title. The Southern hegemony, which seemed unshakable, was interrupted by Michigan and Ohio State, both from the Big Ten. Coincidence? Perhaps. But in Saban's view, it's a direct consequence of a new recruiting model that weakens the historical appeal of Southern schools, where passion for football has always trumped money. It's important to remember that Alabama itself adapted to the nil era under Kalen DeBoer, the man who took over after Saban's retirement. DeBoer has led the program with a modern approach. The Tide still attracts elite talent, but the situation is more complex. Financial offers and nil collectives have become recruiting tools, especially for universities in the North and West, where there are larger markets and more companies willing to invest. Saban's statement, therefore, is not only a criticism, but also a warning. He sees the danger of college football becoming a bargaining chip, where athlete development and love for the game are replaced by contracts and figures. Deep down, the coach who revolutionized Alabama fears that the essence of the sport, development, fair competition, and team spirit, will be lost along the way. But there's also a point that needs to be questioned. Is the problem the nil itself or the way programs use it? Because while the North is reaping financial rewards, Alabama remains a symbol of structure, stability, and tradition. It's still the place where talent is honed and where victories are achieved through consistency, not promises. Saban is right when he says that the SEC's regional advantage isn't what it used to be. But perhaps this new era calls for a different kind of advantage, one that DeBoer seems to understand well, combining the Crimson Tide's historical weight with a modern, balanced vision. Money may be attractive, but culture and winning still define champions. And that's why, even with all the changes, Tuscaloosa remains the epicenter of the conversation. Because at the end of the day, when Saban speaks, he's not just criticizing the system. He's defending what he helped build and challenging Alabama to prove, once again, that it's Bama. Michael Carroll is getting closer and closer to taking over as Alabama's starting right tackle. And the numbers, Ryan Grubb's words, and his on-field performance all bear this out. It's no exaggeration to say that the rookie is poised to become a central piece of the offensive line for one of the most established teams in American college football. The question no longer seems to be if he'll become a starter, but when. and apparently that moment may be closer than many imagine. Ryan Grubb, the Crimson Tide's offensive coordinator, isn't one to hand out praise lightly. He's meticulous, detail-oriented, and demands a lot from his players, especially the offensive line, which has the crucial responsibility of protecting the quarterback and paving the way for the running game. So, when Grubb says that Carroll is very close to being able to be an every-down guy, it's important to pay attention. That statement carries enormous weight, especially coming from someone with Grubb's experience and tactical vision. He sees something special in Carroll, something that goes beyond physical abilities, a leader's mentality. The episode Grubb mentioned about the offensive line meeting is emblematic. When a young player like Carroll takes responsibility for a mistake in front of everyone, without hesitation, and even explains in detail what should have been done, it reveals maturity and confidence. These are characteristics that typically take time to develop, but Carroll is already showing them in his first season. He not only understood the mistake, he immediately knew how to correct it. This kind of mental clarity is rare, especially for a rookie. The numbers also tell an interesting story. Wilkin Formby, the starter so far, has accumulated more snaps, 322 to Carroll's 143. But Pro Football Focus data shows that Carroll has been more efficient. While Formby has allowed 10 pressures and 2 sacks, Carroll has allowed only 3 pressures and no sacks. This difference is significant, especially when it comes to protecting the quarterback in critical moments. Carroll's consistency has been attracting attention, and that's something Alabama desperately needs at a position as crucial as right tackle. Rotating Formby and Carroll has been a strategy throughout the season, but that dynamic may be about to change. Grubb has made it clear that consistency is a priority, and that could mean giving Carroll more room to demonstrate his worth. Even if the rotation continues, there are signs that Carroll is gaining ground and possibly overtaking Formby in the competition for the starting position. When Formby moves to the offensive line to play right guard, Carroll assumes the right tackle role, suggesting that the coaching staff is already testing different scenarios to maximize the freshman's talent. It's hard to imagine Alabama keeping Carroll out of the starting lineup for much longer. He has demonstrated not only technical ability, but also a competitive mindset that perfectly matches the program's culture. In college football, especially at a team like Alabama, opportunities are earned through hard work and consistent performance. And so far, Carroll has done just that. Now, with Tennessee ahead, the pressure mounts. The Volunteers have a powerful offense, with weapons that can punish any slip-up in the opposing offensive line. If Carroll is named the starter, it will be a big test for him, but also an opportunity to solidify his place on the team. Kalen DeBoer and his staff know they need a solid offensive line to face the challenges ahead in this final stretch of the season, and Carroll seems to be the right piece to help build that solidity. Michael Carroll is not just a promising rookie. He is an emerging solution for a position that demands stability and excellence. Let's move on. If there's one thing college football teaches, it's that patience can be as valuable as raw talent. And in the case of Keon Keeley, it seems we're finally about to see that talent blossom in Tuscaloosa. The Alabama defensive end, once a 5-star prospect with towering expectations, is beginning to take steady steps toward the potential everyone knew he had from the start. The win against Missouri was more than just a triumph for the Crimson Tide in the SEC standings. It was a clear sign that Keeley is ready to take his place as one of the team's greats. Defensive coordinator Kane Womack didn't hide his excitement when talking about Keeley after the game. It's understandable. Alabama fans have been waiting a long time for this. Since arriving at the program before the 2023 season, Keeley carried with him the promise of being an immediate impact. But the road to get here has been long and full of adjustments. He arrived as a top player, But the move to the bandit position brought new responsibilities, and also the challenge of gaining weight to meet the physical demands of the role. It wasn't easy, and until now, Keeley hadn't been able to see the field consistently. However, hard work and persistence are starting to pay off. Coach Kalen DeBoer also highlighted Keeley's development, emphasizing something many might underestimate: patience. In an era dominated by transfers, where many players simply leave when things don't happen quickly, Keeley chose to stay. He could have pursued other opportunities, but he chose to bet on himself and the process at Alabama. Now, that bet is starting to pay dividends. Against Missouri, Keeley recorded half a sack and 3 tackles, numbers that may seem modest at first glance, but represent something much bigger: confidence and room to grow. DeBoer and Womack are right to be encouraged by what they saw. It's not just the performance itself, but the context. Keeley is starting to feel more comfortable in his new position, and this is reflected in his consistency. As Womack said, it's all about doing your job at the highest level repeatedly. That's the true difference between good players and great players. And for the first time, it seems like Keeley is finding that rhythm. He's been deployed in different defensive packages and is also getting more involved on special teams, showing versatility and a willingness to contribute wherever needed. Now, with Tennessee ahead, the timing couldn't be better for Keeley to continue his rise. Alabama is in a strong position this season, 5-1 overall and 3-0 in the SEC, but knows it needs key players like Keeley to keep the momentum going. The defense, once synonymous with excellence under Nick Saban, is slowly rebuilding under the leadership of DeBoer and his coaching staff. In this scenario, Keeley has the chance to become a central piece of this rebuild. He has the physicality, the talent, and, most importantly, the right mindset to be a leader on the field. What makes this story even more compelling is Keeley's human side. DeBoer mentioned that he's a great kid overall and emphasized his humility. These qualities are key to understanding why he decided to stay at Alabama, even in the face of adversity. Keeley isn't just an athlete. He's someone who embodies the spirit of hard work and dedication that the program has always valued. This makes him easy to root for both coaches and fans. As Alabama prepares to face Tennessee, there's a palpable sense of optimism surrounding Keeley. He's still shaping up, still growing, but the signs are clear. We're seeing the emergence of something special. His journey is a reminder that not everything happens according to the timetable we envision, but those who persevere often reap the greatest rewards. For Keeley, the future looks bright, and for Alabama, it means one of its biggest investments is about to bear the fruits everyone expected. It's impossible not to be excited about what's to come. If Keeley continues at this pace, he'll not only be an important part of Alabama's success this season, but also a perfect example of how patience, hard work, and trust in the process can turn potential into reality. Let us know your thoughts in the comments.